This is Sound Ideas, WGLT's news magazine. I'm John Norton. In the industry of clean energy and biofuels and agriculture, carbon capture and storage is a hot topic. But it's not just those production-oriented industries that have their eye on the growing practice. The insurance industry is taking an interest as well, as WGLT's Lindsay Jones reports.
The technical term is carbon sequestration. That's the process of capturing CO2 gases, usually those emitted by large industrial operations, and taking them and storing them deep underground so they don't enter the atmosphere. And right now, carbon capture storage plans in McLean County are a no-go. That's after a county board vote in December in which board members denied a request for a special use permit that would have allowed a Gibson City-based company to place 3 carbon sequestration wells in rural McLean County.
19 noes, 1 abstain. The motion fails.
But before that vote on December 14th, the county's Zoning Board of Appeals heard hours and hours of testimony from the permit applicant, One Earth Energy, as well as various experts and environmental advocates, largely affiliated with Bloomington-based justice group Illinois People's Action. This is Executive Director Don Carlson.
The incomplete emergency response plan filed by One Earth clearly endangers the health and safety of the public, and their special use permit has to be denied based on that.
The ZBA also heard from members of the public who would live near a well, including John Miners, who told the ZBA he was offered a contract for a well, but declined it.
That hurt a little bit, I'm going to tell you. So why did we basically not sign this? Because of the liability issues.
Risks associated with carbon capture technology largely center on the potential leakage of CO2, which can cause CO2 poisoning and oxygen deprivation. And Miners wasn't the only person with liability concerns. Sally Lacer also shared concerns about liability with the ZBA, concerns that were unique to her and her 160-acre property outside the McLean County line. Lacer said she too was offered a chance to contract with One Earth Energy and allow a well to be placed on her property.
I spoke with my insurance company recently. My agent spoke with an underwriter that based upon the information available at this time, I would become ineligible for any insurance coverage on my farm, home, and buildings at this location.
Lacer also told board members the bad news didn't stop there for her, but continued all the way to the bank.
Next, this brings me to lending opportunities. I spoke with the Gibson City Bank, which informed me that I would not have lending opportunities with them without being insured. This is staggering, isn't it?
Lacer's testimony was unique partly because the farmland she owns that could have held a CO2 well is a certified organic, conservation-oriented farm with thousands of trees on the property. The farm isn't as production-oriented as others that could house CO2 wells. And as ZBA member Julia Turner noted, of all public comment against CO2 wells in McLean County, of which there were many, there was only one regarding insurance.
We had one person bring that up, and we had many people who lived in that area, are familiar, have been in the middle of this decision for quite a while, and we had exactly one person with nothing to back that up.
The ZBA debated whether to bring in an expert witness to testify about insurance, but ultimately decided to proceed with a vote on whether to recommend One Earth Energy's permit. Although the full county board denied it, the ZBA voted to recommend approval. So what was with that insurance risk that Sally Lacer shared, and how common of an issue could that be? Lacer shared the letter with WGLT, which came from an agent affiliated with American Family Insurance. It was short, but said that an underwriting team determined it would not insure the property based on the information it currently had available.
So I was like, you are kidding me. Like, that was like somebody dropped a bomb in my lap.
The company does not comment on individual policy issues. But in the larger insurance world, carbon sequestration efforts are catching the eye of multinational commercial markets that can afford to take on risks associated with carbon transport and storage, which developers are increasingly interested in due to financial incentives. Everett Hansen is an associate vice president and client executive with Marsh, a global insurance broker and risk advisor.
Demand for carbon capture, utilization, and storage projects is being fueled primarily, like many other clean energy initiatives, by the wave of investment that's been spurned by the Inflation Reduction Act. And in this space, while many of the associated risks are not new, some are, and in most cases, these risks are likely to be best managed with insurance.
Earlier this week, another global insurance company, this one based in London, launched what it called a first-of-its-kind insurance facility dedicated specifically to carbon capture storage. It's a direct response to the growing carbon capture industry, and the policies are being shaped by the developers seeking the coverage for potential projects. Hansen, of New York City-based Marsh, says the commercial insurance industry, as it continues growth related to CO2 storage, is playing a critical role in the possible projects. CO2 wells, for instance, have to receive a permit from the federal EPA. And part of getting that permit includes an applicant demonstrating they have the financial wherewithal to handle any problems that may arise.
And the EPA actually allows insurance to be used as one of the means of financial assurance demonstration. And many developers are looking to insurance as the most efficient or low-cost means of fulfilling the necessary capital requirements that they have to demonstrate in order to obtain the necessary permits.
Although CO2 storage facilities are not yet operational at scale in the U.S., Hansen says the companies that can provide this kind of protection draw their risk assessment information from, quote, analogous industries, like the natural gas industry, as an example. Hansen cannot and did not speak on whether the growth of CO2-related insurance among multinational firms will broaden to include insurers like the one that Sally Lacer has for her Gibson City farm. But as the market catches up to the status of other industries, Hansen says,
I think it's certainly a possibility.
Recent projections from a group called Vantage Markets Research say the global carbon capture industry is projected to reach a value of $7.5 billion by 2030. I'm Lindsay Jones.
One McLean County board member said they voted against One Earth Energy carbon sequestration project because it didn't have enough safety protections in place, but noted the company could reapply later.